Were you with me when you
Want
called
to say good afternoon to you
and
and welcome to the Heart of the Matter with Dr. Marjorie. Dr. Marjorie is in. Good afternoon, Dr. Marjorie.
can I just
Good afternoon, Denise.
How are you doing today?
I'm blessed, blessed, blessed.
Wonderful. So let me tell the listeners a little bit about you again before we start, just in case they weren't here last week and the week before. She has a bachelor's of arts in art and history from the California State University, Fresno. She's a member of the National Christian Counselors Association. She is a licensed pastoral counselor. She's also a graduate of the Colorado Theological Seminary. She has a PhD in clinical Christian counseling. She has a business, a counseling business that's called You Are a Mighty Warrior. And she's been in private practice since 2016. Her practice is Christian based, meaning she believes in the Bible. And she believes that the Bible is divinely inspired and that is it's a powerful tool to teach, instruct, and correct. She believes that God was, is, and will always be in the business of healing. That means that with prayer and discernment given by the Holy Spirit, we can see God's purpose spiritually, physically, and mentally. Welcome to the broadcast again, Dr. Marjorie.
Thank you. And I want to add that, remember, I am not a medical doctor. I'm
Right.
not a trained medical doctor. I am a mental health therapist, a mental health counselor.
Counselor. Right. Thank you for making that clear for us.
What are we going to talk about today?
You tell me, because if I tell you what I want to talk about, then we're going to go in a different direction.
Are you sure?
Yes, what I want to talk about is grief. But I don't know if that's what you're prepared to share today.
I'm prepared to talk about anything, Denise.
Okay.
So let's talk about grief.
Right. So I know that especially for my fellow Jamaicans, a lot of persons are struggling with grief because there has been many deaths, not just with COVID, but there's been a lot of killings going on. On the weekend, we had a news of a little girl that was brutally, she was abducted from school. It's actually rocking the nation right now. She was abducted from school and she and her little brother, her throat was slashed and she was thrown from a car. We were praying for her to make it through. She went into surgery, but after the surgery, she passed at 3 o'clock on Saturday morning. And I know that a lot of people are struggling with this, with their own grief, with their own, you know, realities of death. And so I want to know if there's anything that you would want to share, or if you had something prepared outside of grief, that's fine.
I don't know about the Jamaican society and how they deal with grief, but as Americans, we really do not do well with this topic of grief as a society. We have learned how to acquire things, but we haven't learned how to lose them. So there's a great conflict of feelings that is caused by grief or change. And grief is normal and it's natural, but it's not understood. And for sure, it's a topic that we've neglected as a society. Is that true in Jamaica as well?
It is, to an extent. We do grieve, but I don't know if we grieve well. There's a period of mourning. I find the difference here. I can share my experience, and you can tell whether it's different. So when you have a death in Jamaica for about, well, from the death until the time of burial, the community rallies around you, and every night they would come to your house and keep your company. It's more like a party atmosphere if you're not used to it, but that's what happens. However, when the burial happens, when the real grief starts, very few are there with you. Here, I remember I went through a death of someone close to me. I went to work. No one knew that I was grieving. I couldn't show any signs of grief because it was just business as usual. The work goes on, everything continues. And we just go to the funeral, we put on this person, and there's a repast, and that's it. It was over. Like, yeah, it's very different, very, very different here. At least in Jamaica, you have the support of the community for a number of days.
And what's interesting is that grief isn't just produced by the death or passing of someone that we know or that we're close with. Grief can come out of divorce, the death of a pet, from moving, changing schools, starting schools, retirement, uh, holidays, um, graduations, addictions, the end of addiction, um, major health crises or changes in your health patterns. It's the loss of security. It's the loss of something, loss of control of the body. And there's a really excellent book called, let me see, Grief. It's the Grief Recovery Course by John James and Russell Friedman. And that's what most of us Christian counselors use as our reference and foundational in our foundation um, to start counseling people.
Just want to remind the listeners before you go on into the book that you can call 825. It's a WhatsApp number, 825 343 4486. That's 825 343 4486. You don't have to wait to call. You can interrupt this conversation at any point and make your call. Whatever situation you're struggling with, mentally, emotionally, whatever you need help with, the doctor is here. She's on call to take your issues and to guide you through with tips and advice. 825 343 4486. Go ahead and make those calls. Go ahead, Dr. Marjorie, the book that you were
It's
referring to.
it's actually written as a recovery course, and it's used in a group setting as well as individuals. And it it says that trying to deal with grief with the intellect, there's a huge problem there because it's so very emotional. So there's many different steps that they take you through in this book, anything from writing letters to the loved one and uh, to how do you, as someone who is living with someone who is experiencing grief, how do you speak to them about the grieving process? Um, I want to ask you, Denise, did you have any unfinished business in your processes of grieving? Anything that you felt was unfinished with the person who passed?
Lots. This was my elder sister. One of the promises she made me several promises. Um, One of them was that she would have paid for me to go to modeling school because she saw that I liked it and I had a talent. That wasn't fulfilled. So my first check when I started working was I used it to pay for that. We have a caller coming in. Thank you for calling the Heart of the Matter with Dr. Marjorie. You're live on the radio. Good afternoon.
Good, good afternoon, Miss Johnston. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. You can call me Denise. I'm good with that. Dr. Marjorie is here.
Okay, Dennis. Good afternoon, Dr. Margaret.
Marjorie.
Oh, Dr. Marjorie.
Yes. Hello. How can we help you today?
Basically, I'm just calling to see if both my mom and I could get some tips on how to really handle grief. We are currently still mourning the loss of my father, and mommy would have lost him as a husband. Hello?
Yes. Yes. How long ago did they pass?
Did he?
Oh, I'm hardly hearing you though.
She wants to know how long ago did your dad pass and is your mom close by?
Well, basically, yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Okay.
It's over a year and what, 3 months, 2 months, 4 months.
So, was he the sole support for your family financially?
I would say in a sense, both my sister and I, we would have had our jobs, but he still would be like the main person in the family, just the same.
Are you able to talk freely with your other relatives about his passing?
Um, I guess I have a person I can share with at times, yes, but I wouldn't do so with any other family because they are still having a hard time coming to grips with the loss of their brother.
Yes. Some questions that are really comforting to talk with as a family. Questions like, what do you wish had been better? What do you wish had been more? So
Yes.
maybe I'll ask you those questions. What do you wish had been better with your dad?
I honestly wish I honestly wish I could have gotten at least another 5 or 10 more years with him before passing.
How old was he?
56.
Mm, mm. It's as a family, there can be a lot of healing when you're able to talk freely and to speak about these things, just like you're speaking with us about it. What do you wish had been better?
Yes.
What do you wish had been more? What do you think your family members would say to those questions?
I know that they would still say the same thing. They would still wish for him to be around because it was just yesterday I was having a conversation with two of my aunts, and they were saying that they still don't know how to move forward without knowing that he's not alive anymore. So I know, even especially for his brothers, whom I'm from a close knitted kind of family, and I know just as how we, the immediate family, are struggling to really come to terms with his passing, even though it is over a year, they are still having the same problem. So I know that they would wish he's still here just the same.
Yes, it sounds like there is quite a bit of unresolved grief, things that are unresolved,
Yes,
and that's what causes the tension, is the unresolved feelings. And the best way to resolve those are to talk together about it. Is that possible with your family? I don't know your family. I don't know the dynamics between you all. Is it possible that you can begin talking about this? What do you wish had been different about your relationship with dad? What do you wish this relationship had been as far as being better? What do you wish had been more? It's in the process of being able to communicate the unresolved parts of it that you begin to be able to let go and move forward. Does that sound like it's possible?
yes, it's possible that we can talk about it both as an immediate family and also as an extended family. However, as it relates to his siblings, even though it has been a year and 4 months, honestly, they are not at the place where they can freely talk about him without crying.
Yeah, yeah. Is sometimes with this unresolved grief that we're talking about, there need to be apologies made. Sometimes with unresolved
Yeah.
grief, there needs to be forgiveness. Uh, and sometimes there need to be emotional statements that are made to each other about that. And that's very difficult. I'm not saying it's easy, but when did he die suddenly?
Yes,
I thought so. Only
because
what were you going to say?
yes, he was just admitted like for a night overnight, and then while we were hoping to wake up with the anticipation of going to visit him with breakfast, then we got the news instead.
Yes, that's very difficult. So I hope that you're understanding what I'm saying. There's unresolved conflict. There's unresolved grief here, and uh, the best way that I can anticipate healing to come is for you as a family to begin dialoguing about these unresolved things. Any apologies that need to be made to each other, to him. This can be done in prayer. Any kind of forgiveness that needs to be extended to each other, to him. Um, uh, Forgiveness is a real key point here. Um, does that resonate with you at all?
Yes, it does.
Sometimes I have found with clients that have unresolved grief issues when a loved one passes unexpectedly, is to write a letter. Um, it's very important to release those unspoken, unresolved emotions. And in the letter, this is all
Yes.
according to this book and to the experience that I've had with my clients. In this letter, I have my clients uh, write an apology. I apologize for these things. And then I forgive you. I forgive you for these things. And then the third thing is I want you to know. In other words, you make significant emotional statements. Um, it's very cathartic. It's very healing. Those three things written in a letter. And of course, you can't send it to your loved one because he's passed, but it's just an outpouring of this unresolved grief. So you apologize. I apologize to you for this. I forgive you for this. And then you make significant emotional statements. I love you. I miss you. I'm angry with you. You make those significant emotional statements. And then what you decide to do with the letter is up to you, but it can really help to resolve those emotional components of grief that are just not resolved because of his quick death.
Yeah.
I hope that helps you some.
Okay, sure it does. Thanks much.
You're so
Do you
much. You're
want to
so
put your
welcome.
mom on to talk about her issues dealing with the loss of her husband?
Yes, she's right here.
Go right ahead.
Good afternoon.
Good
Hello.
afternoon and welcome to the Heart of the Matter with Dr. Marjorie. Dr. Marjorie?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, doctor. Yes, on my part, definitely it always bring me way back. And like each time a situation like would have come up, I would have said if he was here, it would be better, it would be smoother, and it would be just like normal. She hearing me?
Yes.
Yes, I am. Keep talking.
Yes, doc, as I was saying, all of that. And presently is like that. I really try to cope, but there are times it is just difficult.
That's
And
yeah. What do you do?
I know going forward, I know it will. I mean, I'm expecting it to be better, but I know it would take a whole lot of time.
I don't know if you have ever heard this before, but um, with death and dying, there are stages of grief that people go through: anger, denial, um, these different stages that you go through, and then you repeat them. But with grief and the grieving process, there isn't these stages that you go through. It's just some days you're doing well, other days you're doing just terribly. And
Yes.
I'm wondering if that's happening to you, if you're frustrated because you think you should be at a different place than you are with this. Is that true for you?
Yes.
Yes. The grieving process is natural. You've had a severe loss in your life. And I hope that the family around you is able to allow you the space and the comfort to have bad days and to have good days and to not say things like you need to be getting out and you put on a happy face and you need to do this and they just allow you to grieve at your own pace. I hope that's going to happen for you. um, Another thing I want to ask you is, like I asked the person before, um, do you have thoughts about um, the need to forgive? Are there unresolved things that happened because your husband died quickly? Are there areas where you need to extend forgiveness to him?
Yes, I would say yes, church wise.
Is that something in prayer that you can give to the Lord?
Definitely, doc.
Yes. we're talking about unresolved grief here. It hasn't, these areas in your life that have not been able to be carried out to the logical conclusion. And I find that a lack of forgiveness, or even knowing that you needed to forgive, sometimes is a block in a block that comes along so that you're not able to move on with this. So there's that area, being able to forgive. The other area is apologies. Do you feel like there's anything that you need to apologize to your husband for?
Not really, Doc.
Okay. How about this?
I would have say we, as a family, then wife and husband, we were happy.
That's a blessing. You can imagine how difficult the unresolved grief would be had you not been happy.
Definitely.
Yes. Yes. But I would also suggest to you that you might consider writing him a letter, um, asking for forgiveness for these different issues that only you know and only you are holding in your heart, and tell him how you are feeling emotionally. Do you think that would help?
Yes, Doc. I'm gonna try it.
Please do. Please do. I have seen it work wonders. And then what you choose to do with the letter is up to you. Um, and it's I've just seen it do such wonderful things for people. It's like uh, finally they have said their piece, and finally it's being dismissed and released, and then you move forward. And moving forward, I really want to make this point. Moving forward doesn't mean forgetting that loved one. Moving forward
No.
doesn't mean that you are going on without them, because you carry the memories in your heart. You carry that loved one in your memories and in the conversations that you have with your families, which keeps them very much alive. I hope that that will help you.
Yes, Doc. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
Thank you for calling. Have a blessed day.
Thanks much, and same to you.
Thank you very much.
Alrighty. God bless you. Can I jump into this
Yes,
conversation?
I was going to say something to you, Denise. Um, is it all right to talk about something that we did together in session?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, I remember one of our counseling sessions together, Denise. We just took a time where you dialogued with your father, even though
Yes.
he passed. And it was so profoundly um, rele-
Healing. That was
healing and releasing for you
yes.
to have this dialogue with your father in my consulting room, even though he was not there. You were talking with him and you resolved some things that really had not ever been spoken. We can
I
do
did.
Yeah, we can do that in prayer, or we can just have the dialogue right where we are in the car as we're driving down the road. We can say, I am so mad at you for dying. I am so mad that you left me with these children. I am so mad that now I have to be the breadwinner. Just releasing those emotions can be very, very cathartic. And we can do it at any place. Well, almost any place.
So I've taken that with me and I've used it with others. And I find that it has been healing for them as well. The thing about it, I when I said I wanted to jump in the conversation, I want to go to my sister who, like I said, I carried that grief for very long. It was, I think it was last January. I was writing, and so I heard the Lord said, pull her story out of your book. And when I started writing about my sister, because what happened from the counseling is that my memory got healed because I was locked in the place of just her death. I couldn't remember the good times that I shared with her. But through the counseling, my memory got healed and I started remembering things with her from I was a child. And the more I wrote about it, is the more I realized how freeing it was. And you asked me if there were things that were unresolved. Yes, there were. One of the things is that she had promised to not just model in school. While she left for work the morning, she promised to wake me up. So even when that call came from the parole board 20 years later, and they said, I'm calling about your sister, I'm thinking, well, maybe she's not dead. Maybe she's hidden somewhere. She's just coming out of the woodworks. Here's a phone call that I should have gotten. But the freedom I got from writing, it gave me a totally different perspective. I was able to channel the hurt where it belonged and realize that my sister's work was fulfilled. I could have forgiven those persons who murdered her because I realized that they were unfortunate to be used by the enemy.
Yes.
So, to this family, I would agree, write it down. Everything that you need to say to your dad, to your husband, everything that you felt was unfinished because it was a sudden death, they said. A lot of times, too, as Christians, we carry an extra burden because we think that we can pray it away and we're just going to pray it away and it's going to disappear. I couldn't understand why I was a Christian being used by God, serving Him. And when I went to Jamaica and this thing hit me, the new information I got about my sister, why it would have taken me right back to where I was coming from. And so we carry this extra burden as Christians. It's an expectation that's unrealistic. Just want to remind the listeners to call 825-343-4486. Don't be afraid to interrupt this conversation. This program is designed for you. 825-343-4486. That's a WhatsApp number. Go right ahead and call. Dr. Marjorie is here to cater to you.
I'd like to say one more thing about this letter to help you resolve unresolved grief. Apologies that you want to make to the person who's passed, but also it could be very healthy to include things you wish they had apologized for. And when it comes to forgiveness, that second part of it, how do you wish they had forgiven you? How would is that a call?
Yes, a call keep coming in and dropping off, so I just dialed it back. Good afternoon, and thank
Yeah, I
you for
was wondering.
calling the Heart of
Good
the Matter.
afternoon.
Good
I
afternoon.
just wanted to say welcome to Dr. Marjorie.
Thank you.
Reverend Issy, I just want to say welcome to her because I'm a regular listener of the program and I'm happy to see that you have her there to help us each day.
Thank you so very much for calling. Do you mind saying
Hello,
who you are since you're
my name is Marie Williams.
okay? Thank you for
Marie
Marie.
Williams. Marie Williams, I hear your name on Denise's show all the time.
So you tell her you're a real person, Marie.
I'm a real person.
Well, welcome, Marie. How can we help you?
She, she's just calling to welcome you to the broadcast.
Well, thank you. Thank you. But that's a name I recognize. I hear Denise calling out, hello, Marie Williams.
Yes, I am real. I'm real.
All righty, Marie. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye bye.
You too, my
And
friend.
thanks for
Bye-bye.
calling. The number to call is 825-343-4486. Go right ahead and make your call. Yes, Doc, we were saying.
Oh, let's see. About the letter. Include apologies. Include areas where you wish they had forgiven you or areas where you wish to forgive them. And then include significant emotional statements. I miss you so much. Or even, I am so angry about your passing. Or I don't think I can ever forgive God. Whatever the emotional load is that you're carrying, reveal that in the letter. The reason we get stuck in grief is because we are not resolving or dealing with these emotions that are so close to the surface or that are very buried and that we are choosing to not deal with.
I have a question right here. I'm going through a lot in my marriage. We haven't touched each other for more than a year now, and we live in the same house. We don't talk. Can you marry the wrong person?
Certainly. The reasons why we marry people are varied and complicated. Sometimes it's really emotional, and we're not using that. Sometimes we are marrying people because we have a crisis in our life and we don't know what else to do. We get backed into a corner. Sometimes we're pressured to marry someone. Um, the marriage covenant is probably one of the most important covenants we can possibly make with someone. And the wrong reasons are often right there. Yes, so then once you are in this marriage and you have married the wrong person, then what? That's when you need strong family ties. That's when you need a very good counselor to work this through. But yes, it's possible.
Mm. Marrying the wrong person. Wow. Just want to remind the listeners that it's not necessarily about grief that you have to call. Whatever issue that you're going through, I got asked that question, and that's why I'm responding. Whatever issue you're going through, whatever the emotional or mental issue that you're going through, the doctor is here to help you. 825-343-4486. It's a WhatsApp number. Don't be afraid to use it. 825-343-4486.
I would love to have that person so I can ask a whole bunch of questions I have racing through my mind about the wrong person. I would love to know. I'd love to know what her situation was when she said yes. I would love to know what she's thinking she needs to do now. Hey, Judy, is Judy listening? Judy Daka in Zambia?
Zambia, yes, she's listening.
I know Judy.
Good afternoon to you, Judy Daka, over there in Zambia. Thank you for tuning in to the Higher Drive. Dr. Marjorie, I
Yes.
find that a lot of times, being a young adult in church, there's a lot of pressure for persons to get married just because their friends are getting married. And the proper diligence isn't done. I find that the calls are dropping off. Let me try to. Good afternoon and welcome to the Heart of the Matter with Dr. Marjorie. You're live on the
Good
radio.
afternoon, Denise.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Denise, and good afternoon, Dr. Marjorie.
Hello.
Dr.
How
Marjorie, sorry. Dr. Marjorie, she can't see you when you nod your head, so you will have to answer.
So, my name is Nadine. I'm actually calling from Trinidad. Um, I'm not. I'm not going to talk about grief because I don't think my issue is grief. My issue is, or my concern is, how do one win their self from their siblings? Um, I hope I bring across the question well. I'm the eldest children. I'm the eldest child of 10 children, and I've been mother and father for my siblings from maybe 13. Now I'm in my late 40s, and I'm trying to live, have my own family, but I'm always required to take care of my siblings, and it leaves me hungry because even if they call today and they need something, even though they're all adults, I still feel debtor to them, and because of that, I'm angry most of the time, and I don't know what to do.
Well, there's a whole lot of kids in this family, and it sounds like you have been their go-to person all their lives. Is that correct? Where'd she go?
Can you hear the Dr. Nadine?
Yes, I'm hearing.
She's asking you.
Hello?
She's
Yeah.
asking you the question. Go right ahead, Dr. Marjorie.
I'm not hearing too well.
She
So
said it sounds like you've been the go-to person for your sibling all your life.
Yes, and my mom, she passed away 2 years now. This year will be 2 years, and there was question that I want to ask her, but I didn't get a chance to. And I'm not angry at her really, because I don't think she understand even the depth of what she was doing. But at the end of the day, now that everybody's big, it they still come to me, and when I in my situation or when I have medical issue, I have nobody to go to, so it left me real hungry.
well, what I would suggest is that it's time for you to start setting some boundaries. And how we do that is when your siblings come to you, you begin to ask them questions like, "What do you think you need to do about this? What do you think is the best answer here?" You turn the question around to them so that they start thinking for themselves. Now, this isn't going to be something that goes down very lightly or goes down very easily because they're used to coming to you for all the answers to all these questions. But in order for you to have your space and to start living your own life, you need to start having them begin to exercise their boundaries and be able to think for themselves and to realize that you're not going to be there for them all the time. You can turn your phone off. You can say, I can talk to you between this time and this time. You can give them some boundaries for your time so that it works for you, because you have a busy life and it sounds like you have some medical issues. So you can say to your sister, I will talk to you from 8 to 9 this evening, and start setting some boundaries. Now, like I said, family members don't appreciate it very much when they've been able to have free reign and to talk to you whenever and get your advice and get your ear at any hour of the day. Does that sound familiar?
Can you hear the doc answering you?
Yes, I am listening.
Okay.
What do you
So
think
she's
about
asking,
starting to set some boundaries with your siblings?
she's asking you, what do you
Yes, it does.
hello?
Yes, I am listening.
She's asking you, is your radio on? She's she's asking you, what do you think about setting some boundaries with your sibling?
I tried that before, and it went like I was the bad person, and no, it's not really. I I have tried that before, and it did not work well. Um, I was I was maybe seen as the bad one that didn't have time, and it didn't go well.
I am not surprised, because that often happens when I'm trying to teach one of my clients about boundaries, because the siblings aren't used to it. They're like little babies. They're used to crying and having mommy show up. And when you set boundaries, you are perceived as the bad person, but you know you're not. You are trying to set boundaries so that you can protect your life and protect your time and protect your family. So what if they think you're a bad person? You know you're not, and you know that they'll be back tomorrow with another set of questions, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So, what I teach my clients about setting boundaries, for instance, let's just assume that your sister calls 4 or 5 times a day just to talk, and you don't have time to talk. When you set that boundary of saying, listen, sister, I will talk to you from 10 to 11 this afternoon. And then she says, well, you can't do that. I do blah, 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 blah. You repeat the boundary. I will talk to you from 10 to 11 today. And you repeat the boundary, you repeat the boundary, you repeat the boundary, and eventually they will comply.
Dr. Marjorie, I don't think they don't call to talk. They just call like if they need something. I am the go-to person that they call if they need something. And if I said I don't have it, I'm living in the Caribbean just like my siblings. And if I said I don't have or you have to wait, it's the insult, it's the stuff that comes with it. So basically, it left me hungry because I have been doing my best to make sure everybody's comfortable. Um, and no matter what, break it down, listen, I need to take care of my kids and I need to take care of stuff. I don't know. I don't know what they think or how they even look at life. Is like, you don't need to have a life. You just need to take care of us. And my youngest sibling is 26. So I'm talking about real adults here.
Well, what you just said was very good. You said, okay, first of all, let me back up. Give me an example of the most recent conflict that happened with one of your siblings. What happened?
Okay, so in November, well, most recent. Most recent was last week. I have a sister that gave birth to a pair of twins in November. And this sister is the person that I think I have to be questioning God about if she is who I'm supposed to be a slave to. Because I've done everything, every single thing that a mother and father would have done for a child, I have done for her. And she had a period twin, and I thought it was postpartum depression. So even though even though I'm living out of Jamaica, I have done everything I possibly can do for her here. I would have gone to the credit union. I would do everything I can do, financially, mental support, everything. And she basically abandoned the children. And I talked to her, that big sister, why you do that? The children need you. And she was most disrespectful. It left me in tears for like 3 nights straight. I was crying. I was on my knee and I was real crying. I don't know, I trying to think that she's mental. I try to make excuse because I just couldn't understand somebody that I've given all my teenage life to. I mean, I started working at 14, going to school and working in a supermarket on weekends just to make sure she had everything because my mother she had us real quick behind each other. And I do every single thing for this sister. And when I try reaching out to her back, she blocked me. She called me all kind of name. And I'm like at a place where, how did we get here? Because I couldn't send you the money when you need it, or because I am not supporting you abandon your 2 daughters. It's just sad. And right now, honestly, it takes a toll on me that I'm beginning to bring it into my household where I'm hungry with my partner who have done me no wrong.
What would you like to say to her?
I want to ask her what I have done to her for her to be at this place towards me, because I've searched and I've tried to figure it out. So maybe she have the answer.
Have you ever asked her that before?
No, I haven't, because this is the first time she lashed out at me like this. And she blocked me. I'm trying to reach her, and the only time she might have picked up her phone again to call me is when some serious crisis happen, and it's always some money crisis.
What do you think she would say if you asked her that question?
I don't know. I don't know, because my expectation have gone through the window of how she even think anymore. I don't know where to even start. I don't know. I believe that some people are just born with ungratefulness. I could be wrong. And that's how I look at it. I'm just saying that she's ungrateful.
So did you say that you are giving her money?
Repeat the question.
Did you say that you are giving her money?
All my life, I work for her. That's my smaller sister, my brother smaller than her. But all my life, that's what I have been doing. She don't ask twice. And the moment I'm not in a position to do it like I normally do, because I have a family of my own, I have a business that some days it's real good and some days it's a business. So she don't understand that. If she call now and she need money, I'm supposed to join the Western Union line or the MoneyGram line instant. And I think because I told her I don't have a question she giving her children away, she just snap. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just at a place of hunger because I'm saying I've given you all my teenage life. And then my other sisters, they are like on the fence. They just watch and they have nothing to say. And if they do say, they say, well, you love her the best, you give her everything, you don't give us anything. So they are watching to say, well, you should have given us too. And they have that.
So
Any Jamaican that is listening know that If one sibling is away, even if it's in 80, you have to look back on the one that you left behind. And I've been doing that.
So tell me, what do you think needs to happen here?
I think for me, I need to set boundaries for my mental health. Struggling with some colon issue about 2 years now, and when I get upset, when I'm stressed, it affects me the most. Um, so I think I need to set boundaries for myself and respect the fact that I have a family of my own and they are my first priority. And for the past few days, I've been praying to God about that to
Exactly.
stabilize my mind that I could focus on my family.
Exactly. And I want
My family.
I want you to know that when you begin setting boundaries and keeping them, it's not going to go well with those people who are being shut out. They are going to be mad at you and they're going to call you names because it's worked in the past. It's worked in the past to get their
Yeah.
way. But set your firm boundary and stick with it, and they will soon learn that, oh, I've got to turn somewhere else to get my needs met, and you'll be off the hook. Thank you so much for calling. I
Yes.
hope this has been helpful. Boundaries are so important. Boundaries are so very important.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. It was nice talking to you. I feel a little better because I was a little anxious. So
Uh,
thank you so much. Thank you, Denise.
You're most welcome. Thank you. And God bless you. Dr. Marjorie, this is where we have to pull things down. This is where we wrap up because I'm a bit late for the birthday segment, but we'll work it out. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for your wisdom and advice.
my pleasure.
God bless you.
Mhm.
Doc, have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you, Denise.
God bless you so much. Want to invite the listeners who are tuning in on Facebook and YouTube to continue listening on hggradio.ca, where we will continue the broadcast. That's hggradio.ca.